Okay, so we're going to take you through the four revolutionary governments of France. By governments, I mean the group of people who were running the country. Um, and it changed four times from May 1st, 1789, until October 1795. Obviously, there's more governments of France, revolutionary France, after that, but these are the four that took place during kind of the acute transition from a king until we get to the worst of the terror and the Great Terror and all that kind of stuff. So, the first government of France was the Estates General, and you guys already know that it was from May 1st to June 17th. And the big job of the Estates General was to kind of decide what they were going to do with the future of France. Once the Third Estate took the tennis court oath and it was decided that each man would have a vote, then everything sort of fell into place for the transition to the second revolutionary government of France, which was the National Assembly. Like I said to you before, only about two-thirds of the delegates who went to the Estates General ended up in the National Assembly. The National Assembly had two jobs. They were going to write the new Constitution of France, and they were also going to run the country at the same time. And part of that meant giving Lafayette orders on what to do with the National Guard. We've broken down a lot of the details of what happened from 1789 to 1791. But essentially, the big thing to know is that the president of the National Assembly was Mirabeau. He was a moderate, just like Lafayette was, with one foot in the nobility and one foot in the Third Estate. And as the National Assembly progressed, it became increasingly more liberal/radical. And then by the time Mirabeau died, there was a lot of suspicion that he was in cahoots with the king, and things kind of accelerated towards a different, more kind of liberal democratic form of government. So that brings us to the third revolutionary government of France, which was the Legislative Assembly. That was from October 1st, 1791 until September of 1792. This government was not writing the Constitution. This government basically had a constitution to work from, and they were trying to reform France and bring it under control of this new legislative form of government. What happened was, as the king tried to escape, and as things grew progressively more tenuous with foreign enemies, the paranoia ramped up. And by summer, September 1792, things had grown progressively more radical, and the government of France kind of fell into the hands of the Jacobins and Marat and Robespierre eventually, and then Hébert and Danton and those guys. So by September 20th, 1792, the National Convention emerged, which was the final form of the most acute stages of the revolution. And the National Convention started the committees, the Committee of General Security and the Committee of Public Safety. As you know, at this point, the Committee of Public Safety was comprised of 12 members. The chairman of the committee was Robespierre. And by the time we get into mid to late 1793, they're calling all the shots for what is going on in France. They're essentially a dictatorial group of 12 members, but Robespierre has an inordinate amount of power among the 12 members on the Committee of Public Safety. So that's kind of a brief overview of the four revolutionary governments of France, and I think it might help you, kind of get a clearer picture of what's going on in your French Revolution notes. Thanks.